From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody clapping out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thanks for the money!
You're listening to the Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome to Alan Autry, No Retreat. I'm old Alan Autry, so honored and humbled to have you with us. And I get asked quite often what that no retreat means. It means we never retreat from 3 basic principles. This great country was founded upon faith, family, and freedom. Taco Tuesday, that's when we get most Taco Tuesdays, the honor of Bullet Bob Leone joining us. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you, Haas. Always a pleasure. And you actually had tacos today.
I got corrected.
Yeah, well.
This is
simulated tacos.
We'll never get endorsed by Taco Bell for what I'm about to say, but I'm one of those guys, those commercials get me. There's these Taco Bell fix I have to have. But I walked in to the control room on Taco Tuesday with the 20-pack. The 20 taco.
Yeah, clarify a 20-pack.
Yeah.
They get the wrong idea.
Yeah. That last one time I did that was 35 years ago. I don't want to go down that journey again. But I was informed by Jose. Here it is right here. For those at home, you can see this beautiful party pack. It's got, man, they did a number on that control room.
Is it all gone?
There's 3. Atta boy. Oh, you got a few in your pocket, don't you, Jeremy? I know Jose does.
Hey, they complained about it, but they ate it, right?
But I tell you, Jose took me to school. And I was ashamed. By the time he got through talking to me and dressing me down about saying, "Hey, I got Taco Tuesday, I got Taco Bell," my chin was down, and I deserved it because he said, "Alan, Taco Bell's good, I'll eat Taco Bell, but it's not Mexican food."
Correct.
And if you live in an area like Fresno, Clovis, Central Valley that has some of the best Mexican food restaurants and taco trucks, my gosh, that the world has, period. You can't call Taco Bell actually Mexican.
No.
So what we're going to do.
But we did get the name. So they did tell us the name of a good place.
Did you write it down?
I wrote the second place down.
Well,
he gave us 2 places.
Well, let me put my specs on because we're going to give a shout out to one of our local businesses here. And it is, now you ready? Here's my Spanish. Holding on your seat. Apparently, according to Jose, who never lies, by the way, this taco truck is entitled El Sabor de Metruca.
Well,
let me see if I can get a little worse on that.
You got the M right, Jose.
El Sabor de Metruca.
Michoacan.
Let me look over. Is that good? Oh, God, he's just giving me the wave off like you just murdered the crap out of that. Well, I'm going to go over there personally and apologize to the folks. But listen, apparently, and I trust Jose on this a lot, man. Jose loves his food almost as much as me and you. He loves his food.
All right.
He likes to eat his Mexican food, dipping it in sauce every bite.
Just drench it. He told me that.
Well, I do that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I can't eat the hot stuff anymore.
Oh, God, I want my lips looking like it's full of collagen off of the Orange County Housewives. I'm done, and I'll eat it with the serrano pepper. I learned that from my dad. Bite of that Mexican food, hottest hot sauce you can get. Take a bite of that serrano pepper, sweat, swelling up, and then ready to go again. Love it.
Your mom cooked great Mexican food, though, too. She did okay.
Well, she did a good tostada.
Yeah, she did a great tostada.
But she was an Okie cooker. You know, mashed potatoes, chili beans. Remember those chili beans she used to have? Make us when you come over.
Were great. But you know what?
We come out at halftime after playing basketball one-on-one.
She always tried to get me to eat okra. I could never. God bless Vernie, but I had to say, Vernie, I just can't eat
Bobby,
that stuff.
I understand, but you missed out. I was the same way. Because
eat okra.
you Southerners out there, you see fried okra. It's fried, it's dark, it's black. It doesn't look good laying there. You know, mashed potatoes look good, gravy, it just looks good. Okra doesn't. I didn't touch it for years. Then I had my first bite of okra. I think it was like 16. Bobby, have you had okra since?
I don't touch it. No.
Oh my gosh! I'm going to fake you some fried okra and some Mexican food. But listen, let's let me give a shout out to this local business there, and I won't try to pronounce it. I'm going to go over there and have them work with me over there on Marty and Weber. Apparently, this taco truck is there, and just look for the first letters. El Sabor.
El Sabor.
I did that all right.
Mexican.
It's that last word that I messed up on. El Sabor de Matruca. But anyway, over there,
Not
Jose
close.
swears by it. If you go over there and it sucks, don't blame Jose. I'm just the mouthpiece
And
here.
he gave me the name of another place if you wanted.
Okay,
Since we're doing free endorsements here.
Man, my little sponge fell off my microphone. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Where's my little sponge? I feel naked without my sponge. Where's it at? Where's my sponge?
Oh my word.
All right, we'll get that during the break. Yeah, hit the other one. So we got. Hey, I started to say
the El Patio restaurant in the tower.
It's El Patio.
Well, that's true. Okay. Oh, there, Jose,
Thank
Jose
you,
to the
Jose.
rescue.
All right, let me put my sponge.
Oh.
Now I'm complete. You complete me, little sponge. We've got to know each other very well.
Simple
my lips just a half an inch from you. An hour a day.
At our age, it's simple pleasure.
It's intimate, this relationship. And I owe you more than you owe me. Go ahead, get this thing. Help me out here.
What?
Did you plug the other one?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I was talking to the sponge.
The El Patio restaurant.
Okay, El Patio. Now, where's that located?
That's in the Tower District.
Okay, any specific street or just
right on Olive?
Right on Olive.
For all of you locals, for the people.
Now, is that from Jose or from you?
That's from Jose.
Okay,
not from me. That's from Jose.
You got two of them there.
Yeah. So
okay,
knows.
Before we get to the breaking news on the Roe versus Wade that's taking the country by storm, isn't it amazing how a freaking war that could lead to World War III can just be wiped off the front pages with one other event? That's what's happened with this leak. But first of all, let us, because Guillermo and I were talking about the Naomi Judd, sad passing of Naomi Judd, and we were speculating, which we shouldn't have, that she may have committed suicide because her long battle with mental illness. And when the report of her passing came out, Bobby, it said cause of death was mental illness. So I did a little, which again, I felt bad about, but I think people could understand. She really believed in this cause of drawing attention to this cause, not to herself personally, but the illness that afflicts so many. She wrote a great book. It's helped a lot of people. But I can kind of see, I don't believe in suicide. Do not get me wrong. I just don't believe in that. I just believe you just try to tough it out. But I know, I've talked to people with severe depression. They say, Alan, you don't know. Carlos, you just don't know it. And I'm going to accept them at that. I don't want to know because it's rough. I know people in immediate family. But I just kind of, speculated, Bobby, that maybe she did this to say, hey, I want to show, because it was right before they were to be inducted.
That was
in
the day
Hall of
before.
Fame.
Yeah, the day before, right?
Yeah. And her two kids didn't seem to hold it against her at all.
No.
That she did this thing, because some people feel that suicide's a very selfish thing to do. And they can bring in all sorts of things. And that was not the case with Winona and Ashley Judd, because they lived that with their mama. So, that's a long-winded way of saying it was suicide, apparently.
Was it?
It came out today.
The initial oh, I didn't see that.
Yes.
The initial statement was that she had succumbed to her mental illness.
Right.
And so, in fact, my wife and I were talking about that, and I said, well, what the heck happened? And that's what we had speculated as well. And now it's come out that was the case. That was
yes, that was. They didn't say, and I don't want to get into details, because what does it matter?
Yeah.
In what manner
really
she decided to take her life? It's the passing of a great talent, and also a great person whose influence and respect extended far beyond the country music family.
Mm-hmm.
She had the respect of the pop culture, all types of musicians, every political stripe. The girls on The View, and you have the conservatives on Fox News, really had good things to say about her, because she basically depoliticized herself. She wouldn't be drawn in
right.
like us. You can draw us in a political conversation, and in a
and
heartbeat.
what a talent, though.
And what a talent, boy. They 14 number one hits.
Yeah, what a talent.
All right,
Okay.
Here we go. You thought it would never happen, and it looks like, even though it's not a done deal till you can't say Fat Lady Sings.
No, that is terrible. Why would you even?
Well,
you can't say
it's not over till the lady that doesn't go to Weight Watchers sings. But it looks like Roe versus Wade may be on its way to be overturned. And let me tell you, POTUS has a bone to pick with SCOTUS.
Yeah,
I just saw here POTUS can't wait to call
he's
out.
not happy.
He's not happy with SCOTUS. So POTUS.
He's not happy with the SCOTUS.
POTUS is going to give SCOTUS a piece of his mind.
Well, I think
he didn't have much left to give.
And I think one of the things
he might give his final piece of his mind to SCOTUS. Go ahead, Bobby. Tell us what's going on here.
Well, I think
Roe versus Wade.
Yes, I think
that's the abortion law.
This was
1973.
Yes, this was simply a draft that was done by Alito. There's still time to change things. I think while this is a great sign and a great signal that RV Wade could be overturned, I think we need to, discretion being the better part of valor, wait and see what happens before we start patting ourselves on the back, saying, "Oh, it's a brand new day." Now, again, I hope it does happen. Of all the publications that I read in the last 24 hours about this, the LA Times, believe it or not, said that Roe versus Wade was based on shaky constitutional ground or shaky legal ground.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there was nothing there. And who was that? Harry Blackman, who was the architect of the opinion back in '73, basically grabbing things out of the air using the 14th Amendment, which he alluded to was the right to privacy.
Yes,
but it doesn't say
That's
anything.
A stretch.
It doesn't say anything.
That is a huge stretch.
Exactly. So I'm with you. I know how you feel on this issue. I have a lot of opinions on a lot of different issues, but this is one where I don't budge.
You are closed-minded and closed-hearted.
I am
too.
I am when it comes to this. Let me give you some statistics.
Okay.
These statistics are through 2019. From 1973 to 2019 in the U.S., 63 million abortions, averaging 1.3 million a year. Minority community, 19 million, averaging 413,000 per year. And this is just up through 2019. So this has had a devastating, probably don't even need to say that.
Yeah, take the probably out.
Yeah,
certain.
This has had a devastating effect on America, particularly in the minority community. 19 million African American babies didn't make it, and we can't even put our minds around those numbers. They're so huge. But that's what. And I looked at several different sources. And folks, this is available to anybody. I mean, if I can find it, you can find it, and it's right there, public access. These are just unbelievable numbers.
Yeah,
that have occurred over the last 48 years, 49 years now. Well, this is only through 2019, so 47 years then, 46 years. So these are just unbelievable
you ever notice too,
numbers.
You know, the industry that was birthed, pardon the bad term, but was created by Roe versus Wade, the abortion industry of those so-called fetuses. No, they're no longer living babies, is what they are. And the Planned Parenthood, and when you walk into those waters, I get it. Yeah, Planned Parenthood does a lot of good stuff. Well, I'm sure they do. But on the abortion part of it, which overshadows pretty much everything, it's unconscionable what they have done in terms of being part of nothing less than a genocide in the African American community.
Yeah.
And when you look at the who started the Planned Parenthood, I believe it was a lady named Margaret Sanger. Margaret may not be her first name, but
yes,
I think that's, but her last name is Sanger, who was an avowed racist.
Yes.
This, and again, to quote Bobby, you can go look this up. This is not debatable.
No.
She came out, she said the black people should be eradicated. They called it eugenics, which was alive and well, not only in American politics, but around the world, all the way through the 1920s. Of that, you are by race less intelligent, less a contributor to society,
less human.
So you should be eradicated. How? And if you notice, you don't see the Planned Parenthood buildings in affluent neighborhoods. No. They come and set up shop in your poorest neighborhoods, which sadly are predominantly neighborhoods of people of color, primarily African American. And look at all of the babies, the future. And, when I hear Condoleezza Rice talk, that she was a product, I believe, of rape. I may be wrong on that, and that would be a terrible thing to be wrong. But there was something there that's very integral to this discussion in terms of the sanctity of life, regardless of how that life starts. To me, to put my cards on the table, absolutely. I don't believe in abortion on demand. I still struggle with rape and incest. I go on my knees looking for direction on that, and Bobby, I'm not solid on that. Some days I'm at the moment, give life a chance, regardless of the circumstances. And what tends to make me go that direction is that there was this little baby born in Shreveport, Louisiana in 1952, whose dad was an alcoholic, drug addict, and abuser. And there's every reason in the world for the mother of that baby to not have that child. And child was me. And, when you live a life, you kind of say, I went through some stuff in life, but I'm kind of happy to be here.
Yeah.
And you have people arbitrarily saying, well, look at the circumstances that child will be born into. Oh, you want them to be born being abused by their father, be on drugs, they automatically create this scenario for this unborn child's life. They automatically, They write the script.
Yep.
And say, based on my script, you need to terminate, kill that baby. It's something. So, okay, let's talk about the leak though, because
big issue, big problem.
I think it's huge.
Big problem.
In fact, we we're late for a break. We didn't take too many breaks yesterday, Guillermo and I. We were on a roll yesterday. Organized chaos is how it was described by some folks here. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this leak from the Supreme Court. You can understand leaks from Congress, but this last bastion of integrity, has it been polluted now?
Real scary.
Oh boy. Okay, this is Alan Autry, No Retreat with Bullet Bob Leone. We'll be right back.
Edgar Winter. Oh, can I say that?
Frankenstein. Sure you can.
Frankenstein. Well, we talked about that last week.
I was just there thinking about that.
When Marty Feldman walked into the building where the laboratory.
Young Frankenstein, folks. That's what we're talking
Frankenstein.
about.
And Gene Wilder.
Frankenstein, I'm sorry.
Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder walks into the lab for the first time, and it's just a mess. Spider webs, it's all dirty and everything. This place is despicable. Marty Feldman said, "Oh, I don't know. Some paint and a few throw eggs, it'll be just fine."
Boy, you're getting old when you make statements like, well, they don't make comedy like that anymore.
1973. That's older than Jeremy.
Is that 1973?
By a long ways, yeah. 73 or 74.
The movie?
Yeah.
Roe versus Wade, 1970.
Yeah. Well,
that's something.
There you go. Hey, I wanted to get to some of these quotes from some of your favorite people on the left.
Oh, yes.
Because
on Roe versus Wade?
Yeah. I think we need to break down exactly what they're trying to say.
Why don't we save those for when the radio audience comes back so everybody can, online folks can hear them now. But our radio people, we got to take care of them too. You're our favorites,
Well, I when I was on the radio 100 years ago, Marconi was a kid when I was on the radio 100 years ago. And
Colonel Sanders was a kid.
We didn't have to worry. We didn't have to worry about what we looked like, what we wore, any of that kind of stuff. But I saw a lot of the comments yesterday. People were very impressed that you were wearing a white collar shirt with a jacket.
Really?
Yeah. So I
came right from a meeting.
So I thought instead of wearing a T-shirt today, although you did, but you're the host, you can wear whatever you want. I thought instead of wearing a T-shirt today, I'd kind of spiff up and wear one of my golf shirts.
That's spiffing up. I'm looking at.
Well, hey, I'm retired.
I'm just asking. I think it's spiffing up. I just want to get inside your head.
This is formal attire for me.
Yeah, for me too. I was just
retired.
asking.
I've got a T-shirt on underneath.
Let me ask you
not being a caveman.
You're retired. You're a Bible believing man, right?
Yep.
Where in the Bible does it ever mention retire?
Doesn't.
Okay. So why are you using that word? In fact, just the opposite.
Yeah.
God called Moses when he was 80 to do a little job like lead a bunch of stiff-necked Jewish brethren out of slavery. By the way, you're going to go in the desert. There's not going to be any food. They're going to get really ticked at you.
Trust me on this one.
And then how Moses tried to get out of it. Wait, but I'm old. He goes, your point? Old man. And, I can't talk. That's all right. Your brother Aaron will speak for you. It's like, hey, Moses, look.
30 seconds?
Why did you put me on the spot like that?
You can't retire. Folks, you can't retire. There's no such thing. You keep going till you can't go.
Right? Well, I'm doing that. I just retired. Oh, let me put it this way. I retired from one stage of my working life to another stage now that I'm
10 seconds
playing more golf.
How much golf can you play? Not enough.
Twice a week. Yeah.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Hey, welcome back to Alan Autry. No retreat. A lot happened in the news. I just told Jeremy to turn that up a little bit. Ah, man. Remember those songs, Bobby?
Spill the wine.
Oh, we were like, about 18, 19 years old? That was coming out?
Might have been a little bit older.
A little bit. Spill the wine. Do what now?
One very hot summer
He wasn't
day.
high when he wrote that, was he? All right. Get back to the show. Okay, Roe versus Wade. What's happened, folks, if you haven't heard, which I'm sure you have, but let's just kind of like set this up, as they say in radio, TV talk. Roe versus Wade, 1973, passed, which there was almost unanimous. It was, again, I have to look at the makeup of the court back there. They had to be really, you know what, thinking about it, I think that's when the woke WFL actually started, because that's a woke far left decision to think that the Supreme Court would even have the authority to rule on a medical issue. That's clearly in the purview of the states. There's nothing in the Constitution, because the Supreme Court, Bobby, right,
Yep.
is their number one thing is to interpret the Constitution, not make laws.
Right.
And they, in essence, made a law in Roe versus Wade. The law was you can have an abortion pretty much on demand.
Yeah.
And folks, the deal is this thing came out, was leaked from the Supreme Court. And I guarantee you, remember I said this, there's going to be something from the left that was implicated in this. It wasn't the justices. There's a desperate aspect of the Democratic Party that sees these midterms coming up. They see the wipeout that's going to be coming their way. They're doing everything from escalating a war to trying to get everyone's attention on this Roe versus Wade opinion that may be coming down, to distract from this horrible inflation and the border chaos and everything else. But clearly, this does not mean that abortion will not be available. This does not ban abortion.
Exactly.
It simply, Bobby, it pushes it back to the states.
It remands it back to the individual states.
You want to get an abortion? I guarantee you, California is still going to give abortion. We will be the abortion capital of the world.
Well, I think
New York City.
I think your friend Governor Newsom's already made a statement to that effect.
Yeah, he already has.
Not in so many words, but he said, "Hey, we're not going to allow this to happen here in our state." And if
Washington, Oregon, it's just going to be back where it belongs. You had some reactions, though, Bobby. From
from
our brethren on the left,
from our good friends Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They issued
Nancy Wild Thing Pelosi.
Yeah,
That's my new nickname for her.
Now, don't forget, she's the good Catholic. right? But when they release these statements, we have to break them down to find out what they really mean.
Well, break them down, a wise and wondrous one.
Well, I need some help with that.
Okay.
But here's her statement. Schumer and Pelosi said the Republican appointed justices will overturn Roe versus Wade, will go down as an abomination, one of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history. The greatest restriction of rights in the past 50 years, not just on women, but on all Americans. What does that mean? The greatest restriction of rights in the past 50 years, not just on women, but on all Americans.
Yeah, I think it's very clear to me. There's folks on the left, many of them, who do not support the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for the unborn.
Well, and
they just don't believe that they have an unborn, regardless if you have 2 eyes, 2 legs, can feel pain, could live outside the womb if taken out, that person has rights.
Right.
That the rest of us have.
And back to your comment with regard to the midterms, the first part of this statement says the Republican appointed justices.
Oh,
so
sure.
they're already pointing the finger at the Republicans, saying these guys are some of the worst of the worst. And I don't know, one of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history. That's a pretty good stretch.
Well, I'm trying to figure the woke left out. I mean, you have Elon Musk taking over Twitter, buying Twitter. They go nuts. This Roe versus Wade opinion, and they're crying as if a catastrophe to mankind has happened. Oh my God, we've got free speech and you can't kill babies anymore. Oh, what's the world coming to?
Well, the catastrophe. I
mean,
63 million dead babies.
Right.
That's
think about
the catastrophe.
They're lamenting and crying and having to get therapy because a guy is going to try to preserve free speech, our right to say what we want to when we want to say it. The basic one, the First Amendment in the Constitution, the right to free speech, and they're in absolute doldrums that you can't kill a baby when it's fully formed. You can't kill a person. I mean, let me ask you this. Back in 1973 when this passed and the movement, the abortion movement, you're pro-life, pro-choice, they didn't have in 1973 a way to look inside a woman's body and see the baby. It was kind of this amorphous thing. Okay, we know we got something going on. It's supposed to be, but you couldn't see it. But as years went by, technology improved, and you could actually see pictures of this baby as it grew at these certain benchmark times at 2 weeks, at 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 15 weeks. And you have the Mississippi law that says after 15 weeks, you can't go in and end the life of this baby that you can see in this picture that's moving around, that is fully formed. I personally, and I want your opinion, folks, you want to call and be happy to hear from you. I don't think you're going to get as much of a frothing, manic, vein-bulging opposition and anger and millions of people marching on Washington in front of the Supreme Court on this issue. I think we've learned more, and I think there's not as much support. I don't think there's as much support for Roe versus Wade as there was in 1973.
Well, I read a poll, and I didn't write it down here, but I read a poll that was done not long ago, and they asked people about abortion at what stage, after the first trimester, whatever. 65% of those polled said no abortion after, I think the question was, should there be abortion after 15 weeks? 65% of those polled said there should be no abortion after 12 weeks.
Yeah, Bobby, I've seen several of those.
I think you're
surveys.
right. I think you're right. I think it's going back to a more how do you put this into
human,
more reasonable, a more commonsensical approach to this thing. Because I think more people agree that abortion at 8 months, anything past 15 weeks, is barbaric,
right,
and inhumane,
yeah,
and should not be done.
And there comes a time, and I know I'm going to get in hot water here with some folks who disagree with me on this, and I respect you, especially the women. I know I'm a birthing person myself, but I can only relate so far to. That's another thing. Wonder why the world thinks we're going absolutely crazy. But there comes a time when clearly the baby that's formed inside a woman goes from being just a part of a woman's body to an independent being,
viable, living
that has
being.
rights,
yeah, exactly,
of his or her own. And I don't think that's a radical statement from some right-wing wacko that doesn't get that. Hey, see, there'll be people to take that comment. I guarantee it. Autry hates women. Don't watch Heat of the Night reruns anymore. Bubba hates women. He doesn't want, and they'll take a snippet, but I think most people understand that you've got to, because this whole thing that it's just part of my body. I know it's 8 months inside me, but I want an abortion because it's still my body. That's all this is. Well, no part of a human body, your liver or your lungs has two eyes, another human body actually growing there. It's an organ. You have organs, that are your body. But God gave women the wonderful blessing, as difficult and painful as childbirth is, to experience something we as men never will. As much as we love our kids, I'll say as far as this, we'd die for our kids. But I don't know if we as men can love a child as much as a mother, because they carry that baby. They give birth to that baby. And it may be a different kind of love. And don't get me wrong, I would die for my kids. I love my kids. They die. And I know dads out there, I know we love our kids, but just think about it. We didn't give birth.
There's something between that child and that mom. There's no doubt about that.
Exactly. And the mother's job is to protect that baby at all cost till that baby's born. Then dads, get ready.
Take over.
It's exactly right, buddy. You better make sure you watch over your wife, the mother of your children, and get ready to take care of those children.
Well, again, I think what we need to do is this is only a draft that Alito put out there.
Oh, they're going to overturn it. I'm going to go on the limb. I understand what you're saying, and I'm with you.
I hope you're right.
I'm with you 100%.
We just need to take it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
The whole issue will be remanded back to the states, and I think what you're going to see is a real split between the blue states and the red states.
No doubt
on this whole argument.
No doubt.
So
absolutely no doubt.
While this was great news, I always like to be cautiously optimistic. And in this one, I mean, believe me, I hope it gets done.
Well, we're going to go to a call right now. I was going to go to a break. We're going to go to a call to Laura Fisher. Now, I don't know which way Laura's going to go on that. We might be in for a little talking to.
You're going to spank us?
I don't know, but you know what? I said on this show we welcome a diverse opinions.
Well, Laura's always had a lot of good
contrary
info.
Debate, whatever. And we're going to walk that talk. So I don't know. We're going to go to Laura because she says she has here on the monitor a personal story. Laura, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, sister. Fire away. Says you got a personal story on Roe versus Wade, what Bullet Bob and I are talking about?
I do. You mentioned that there will be states that will still allow abortion. Well, I'm going to tell you a real quick story. I was pregnant. When I went and had an anatomy scan, I found out that my baby didn't have most of its organs. And it was dying inside me.
Mm.
And I had a condition known as preeclampsia, which meant that if they induced labor on me after my baby died inside of my body, that I could go into cardiac arrest and die.
Wow.
And considering that I already had one child and I was a single parent, probably wasn't a good idea for me to risk that.
Absolutely. I hear you.
Furthermore, my doctor also felt that it was probably not in my best interest for me to be forced to give birth to a dead baby and have to look at that. So he felt that it was in my best interest that as soon as the heartbeat stopped, that I be sedated and they do what they call an extract.
Mm-hmm.
a dilate and extract. That's an abortion, Alan. Okay? That's what it's classified as. Well, the state that I lived in wouldn't allow that because I was 21 weeks pregnant when my baby ended up dying. So I had to go to New York by myself and sit in a hotel room for 2 days until my baby died. I kept having to go back to the clinic over and over for them to check and make sure, the heartbeat was there or not there. And then once my baby died, they performed the dilate and extract. And I had to recover by myself. And then I got to come home by myself. Now, I'm a good Catholic, raised Catholic, but I do not agree with overturning Roe v. Wade because in 37 states, women who have gone through exactly what I did may not be able to afford it. They may not have parents who can spend $9,000. This was 30 years ago and it was $9,000. Or how about my friend, my best friend, who was raped when she was 12 by her stepfather and got pregnant. She's 4'11", weighed 72 pounds, and the doctor said if she gives birth to this baby, it will probably kill her.
Yeah.
Those things have to be considered.
And
most of the people that have abortions, Alan, don't even have the means and the money to have one performed in their own state. They barely are able to afford it. And I can tell you, having to make that decision, it's the hardest, most painful, and horrific decision a woman ever has to make. Do I think there should be abortion on demand? No. But there are situations and there are circumstances, and the state of Texas's law is going to end up everywhere. In 37 states, there are already heavy restrictions on abortion. And handing it back to the states, you know what you're going to end up with? You're going to end up with more dead babies in dumpsters. You're going to end up with young girls trying to abort fetuses on their own and killing themselves. We already have an overwhelmed foster care system with 20,000 kids missing in that system, I might add. That's going to end up being tripled or quadrupled. You're going to see more child deaths, more shaken baby syndrome. That's what you're going to see. That's a fact. You don't have to like it, but it's a fact. There is also a strong statistical correlation between the passing of the passing of Roe v. Wade and the reduction in crime 25 years later. Wasn't because we put more police on the street. Because 83% of violent crime is committed by poor young men between the ages of 18 and 25. You don't have to like that statistic, but it's a fact.
Okay. Well, first of all, Laura, and I mean this, we've got to know each other on the show, and I think you know that I'm not just flippantly and mindlessly saying this. My heart really goes out to you for what you went through. And that's why I said that there's still issues. Certainly what you went through, I would have to support you on that. If it was my daughter going through that, those conditions, and the baby was dying, and your life was at stake.
The very people who say they feel so badly for me are the same people who scream about second trimester and third trimester abortions. That is what those mostly are, sweetheart.
Well, here's what I'm saying, though.
That are not viable.
Let me also qualify my position on that, because I agree with you. There has to be more discussion on this, on the special circumstances that you just described, that you just went through. Where and so, like I said, I can't. You guys said I could only imagine. I can't imagine. I'm a man going through what you went through. So you speak from a place of authority and experience that we will never, and I don't attempt to. And so we got to get that straight. I don't come from this from that standpoint of thinking that, well, I know how things are. I have all the answers. Where I'm taking is you gave an example which was very compelling, very impactful, very strong on why there should be certain conditions to this and allow, you don't even call it an abortion, whatever, the baby's going to die, you may die. And it to take that action makes all the moral sense to me in the world. Then on this other side over here, you have abortion on demand, which, as Bobby said, I'll go to my grave. If I'm a dinosaur, I'm a dinosaur opposing abortion on demand just because, well, this baby's going to be born into a bad life. He's got a bad parent, a daddy's not around. this and that, and we have a tendency to write that baby's story outside the womb. We tried it, like you mentioned all of these the crime, but how about the Condoleezza Rices? How about all the stories of those? Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is one of them. Let me finish. Thomas Sowell is one of them, who had an upbringing. He even talks about it, just like you were saying. That would, if you listen to those projecting his future, should have been aborted. But his mother decided to have him, and he went on to become one of the most renowned economists and philosophers of our time. So that's where, a lot in the middle there that needs to be worked out. And I'm with you 100% on that. I'm not going to just blindly say, hey, no abortion under any circumstances. Like I said, I go down on my knees for rape and incest. I get a different message. I'm not solid on that with me. I'm not solid. I'm solid on abortion on demand, but rape and incest, I'm still waiting for a clear thing in my clear message in my heart and in my mind on that.
But that's you, and that's you alone. I'm talking about these chuckleheads in these states who pass these laws without giving any consideration.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I will be for a complete nationwide abortion ban if you make every single man that impregnates a woman accountable.
I tell you, I agree. Let me tell you something. I really agree with you on that. There needs to be consequences on something like that. I'm all for that. People
are pro-birth because the second that baby's born, they don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
I see it every day.
Yeah. Well, listen, we have to go to break, and I appreciate your phone call, your passion, Laura, and I tell you, you're a special person in so many ways. And one of the ways that I admire is you speak your mind, you go from your heart. Thank you for sharing that with us and the world. I know that was very difficult. We needed to hear that, and I respect you now. I respect you before. My respect is off the charts for you. So it's a very complex thing in the middle here of that middle area of a very difficult subject, and I just appreciate your phone call. Appreciate your comments, and we're going to go to break. When we come right back, we'll have the rest of our show here. It's tough. I
mean, you hear a story like that, and
Laura, I know you're listening here and still watching on social media. I believe you watch on social media. It is, and there needs to be a thorough, sober analysis, not driven by emotion, driven by facts. The facts are that she had a baby that was passing away. And the facts are, the medical opinion was, not only the life of that baby, but her life was in jeopardy. And that's the facts. Take the emotion out of it. Where I depart from that is when you get away from that real severe medical condition of the mother or the child and get into the prognosis for that child's life. They're going to have a crappy life. They're going to have a life of crime. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Man, because that was made about me. Mom, she broke the news on me, Lauren, Bobby, on graduation night that her and my mom were, my dad, her and my father were not married. 1952, Shreveport, Louisiana, not married, working as hotel managers. He had a drug alcohol habit, and he wound up, thank God, having another family, and God saw fit to bring good, godly woman into his life. But you take that demographic, if you will, in the South, dirt poor, not married, abusive husband, father, a mother who had to drop out of high school, not educated. Well, that guy's how long before he's in prison? That baby's going to be in prison. He's going to get into a life of crime. I mean, that
a rough start.
But my mom gave life a chance. She says, I want to have this baby. I want to give, it's a living human being. It's not just part of my body. I'm going to give my baby a chance to have a life. And I'm just so thankful. In fact, I told her, forgive me for saying this. I was 18 at the time. No, 17. Mom, when she broke this news to me, she was just at the table. She was crying. I mean, but tears. And I thought she was tears of joy because I got a football scholarship and everything.
Finally graduated.
Yeah, I finally graduated. And I said, Mama, what's wrong? And she said, sit down, son. She goes, I got to tell you something. All these years, you thought that I was married to Carl, your father, and I wasn't. You weren't married? Said, no. She's crying. I go, Mom, why are you crying? I said, look how it turned out. Joe, that was my stepfather. Wonderful father.
30 seconds.
And he says, he raised me. We have a good life. We're going to school. I said, don't feel bad. And then I said this. And so I said, I'm kind of glad you guys fooled around that night because I'm kind of glad to be here. So I don't know what else to say, man.
Oh, your mom was the best. I loved her dearly. Did I tell? Oh,
10 seconds.
We can't do it now, but I got to tell you a story about your mom.
Turn out the lights.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat. We're talking about the Roe versus Wade opinion that was leaked, written by Joseph Alito, which seems to indicate that Roe versus Wade's numbers as federal law may be numbered. Bobby said you had something. That was a story about Mama.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know.
We can chill that till next Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, we can wait till next Taco Tuesday for that.
Love good Mama story.
About Alan Autry's mama, one of the great ladies that I've ever known in my life.
Look here, it says MSAG, so I guess that's Mississippi Attorney General, says that SCOTUS draft is appalling.
The leak of the draft.
The leak of the draft. Okay, yeah.
Which is really a topic for a whole nother show, to be quite honest with you. That's really scary. So you have, 9 justices? And
it's from a clerk. Without knowing, I guarantee it's one of those clerks, far-left clerk working for
4 clerks apiece, which is 36 people. Then you have the administration people that are also in there. So you have a pretty good group of folks.
Unless it was hacked by the Russians. The Russians did it.
Could have been. Where's our disinformation czar? She needs to check that out.
She's outside the door. She will be talking to you shortly. The Truth Commission.
Do you have your papers?
You have your papers in order.
The papers in order. I don't think you do. You look a little suspicious to
me. Yes. Are you from the Truth Commission? Oh, stop us! All right, you had a major point on the
Nina Jankowicz.
Nina Jankowicz,
the head of the disinformation.
Her of Mary Poppins fame.
Yes. Exactly.
Have you seen that video?
Yeah, we showed it Friday.
Yep. Yes, that's right.
That's pretty scary.
That's sure. Folks, you've got to go Google this. What's her name again?
Nina Jankowicz.
Nina Jankowicz. I think if you just put Nina Mary Poppins, you will see something scarier than Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger.
Chucky.
Much more scarier than Chucky. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All of them in the heat of the night, all rolled into one, is the head of the Truth Commission. But go ahead.
What?
You had something on SCOTUS.
I did?
Or was he had something on POTUS?
No, I was just reading what you were reading.
Well, anyway, we only got a few minutes on this show. But listen, it's going to be... Did you in your research, which I know was very thorough?
Yes, in depth.
Did they give an indication in the articles of when that they're going to take up the case?
I read 2 months, at least 2 months.
So this thing probably will be all said and done before the midterms.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah,
could be.
I mean, unless the debate, I can't imagine the debate carrying on and on and on and on. It seems like they've made up their mind. It looks like a 6-3, right?
6-3, 5-4, whatever. But a majority opinion, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and I guess apparently, folks, this Alito opinion was so absent of any kind of gray area, any type of phrasing that would give any indication that those 6 may go a different direction, just wasn't there in the opinion.
That's what I read, correct. Yeah. And he quite frankly really hammered the Blackburn opinion back in '73 that established this. Basically saying there was no constitutional law to base the decision on.
It's a really tough emotional issue. There's no doubt.
Yep.
You feel very strongly about this, pro-life like we are, pro-choice. Laura's experience. You'll hear these folks talk, especially the women and the mothers.
Great.
But the point is, to me, there's a lot of emotional subjects out there, very emotional. We're a product of our own life experience and certain things. People in crime, they've been attacked or raped early in life, and it stays with them. They're very emotional about sentencing these rapists to long sentence, and you understand because they've been raped. It's something that. But here's the overriding issue that we have to take the emotion out of, as difficult as that may be, to preserve this system of the balance, the separation of powers, and what these separation of powers, the Congress, the executive branch, and Supreme Court, the roles they were given and limited to. So you had check. So you don't have a Supreme Court drifting over into Congress and making laws. You don't have Congress drifting over and influencing the court. You have the executive branch. The fact, I feel, this woke far left stuff actually started in 1973. The Supreme Court had no right. There was nothing in that Constitution that remotely gave that court the authority to rule that abortion is legal throughout the country in every single state. So again, and Laura brought up good points about, well, these folks are going to be driving here and there. Well, we're just going to have to figure that out, because you set that precedent, especially after this long debate, then that completely changes the Supreme Court and their powers. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I want to kind of backtrack on something that you said earlier with regard to, incidences of rape or incest, or in Laura's case,
maybe in ill health and dying.
I think you're exactly right. We do need to some way, somehow separate that out in those cases. There's always going to be those cases that will warrant.
And the states, individual states need to do that,
and,
correct?
And that, well, if this thing passes, if this thing gets overturned,
the states will have to.
It's going to go back to the states. They're not going to have a
whether
choice.
They want it or not.
Right.
Oh, some states are going, oh my gosh, don't kick that back to me. Because the pressure's on. But that's where it needs to be.
It's going to be there. This states' rights. States' rights has always been an issue since the Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's been all about.
And rightfully so. You don't want a concentration of power that's that pervasive. Thomas Sowell says, again, it's easy to concentrate power, but almost impossible to concentrate knowledge, because knowledge is dispersed. Just because you concentrate power, that doesn't mean you have the best knowledge and best wisdom in that federal government that these folks want to continue to expand. In fact, you have, I think, less consequential knowledge when you do that. That's the music, folks. And Bullet Bob, boy, it's great having you here, buddy.
Hey.
Taco Tuesday.
Great show today.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning in.
Enjoyed
God bless you. And, just remember, do your best. Let God do the rest. Do that, you'll be fine. See you next week. No, see you tomorrow on Thorough Thursday.
Doesn't need to go any faster than it's going already.
Got to hit myself. Oh, it was free for all Friday already. Oh my God. Earl. That was fantastic.
You hear stories like that from Laura.